Hello. I want to talk a little bit about the young Ulysses S. Grant and his dad and his appointment to West Point for the young Ulysses S. Grant. West Point, of course, was training ground for many of the generals who would be involved in the Civil War. And of course, Grant would eventually lead all the Union armies. So Grant, as a youngster, was not very interested in anything really except horses. He loved horses. It appeared that he didn't have a very good eye or talent for business. And his dad was quite successful. Jesse Grant was an abolitionist. He was very outspoken, and he was well respected and fairly wealthy in southern Ohio. And he sent his oldest son, Ulysses, to private school. Grant never missed a quarter, as he tells us in his memoirs. So he was K through 12, like many of us have enjoyed, which was rare for the early to mid 19th century youth of the day. And when Grant learned that his dad had secured this appointment for him at West Point, which took some doing, as it does today, he told Dad, "No, I'm not going to go." And of course, Jesse said, "Yes, you will." And Grant tells us in some of his writings that since Dad thought I should go to West Point, I thought I should go too. And this story has been told in Grant documentaries and people that have written about Grant. And what I want you guys to understand is Grant knew that this was a wonderful opportunity to go to West Point. This is where the elite went. What Grant was concerned about, and I think we can understand why he was concerned, he did not believe that he had the physical makeup to get through West Point. As he tells us, he wasn't sure that he could withstand what he thought would be a very rigorous physical training. And that's because Grant was a late bloomer physically. When he entered West Point, he was 5'1", and he only weighed 117. Now, he was strong. You know, he was a tough kid, and he was a strong young man, but he was little. He was not very big, 5 foot 1 inch, 117 pounds. You know, that's not a very robust size, and he could not stand to come home a failure. So on the way to West Point, he picks up a book on algebra to help him in his studies, and it proved to be a good idea that Grant had, because mathematics is going to be one of his stronger subjects at West Point. In fact, there were job opportunities that Grant could have pursued to be a mathematics professor. The Mexican-American War kind of changed that dynamic. Grant performed well in that conflict, as well as Robert E. Lee, and of course he was promoted during the war, and then of course he will marry Julia Dent Grant shortly after the war. But just so you guys are clear, Grant understood that West Point was a wonderful opportunity, and it was one that he was willing to pursue. He just wasn't sure he had the physical wherewithal. And of course, end up he did. He had no problems with the physicality of West Point, and he is going to graduate 21st out of a class of 39. And the class began near 80 cadets. So the 39 survivors, Grant was 21st, not great, not horrible. And of course, he sets the record for horsemanship that lasted for decades at West Point. He was always very skilled, not only in the riding of horses, but in the training and care of horses. So I hope you guys enjoyed this brief conversation on one of the United States' greatest warriors, Ulysses S. Grant. Thank you.